What's good with it, y'all? This is Nuanced Noise. My name is Tr38cho, and we are back with another video. Today, we are reading from the root an article about Tyler the Creator from journalist B. Khadijat Tawalawi. I would love to know how to say that properly, but that's what we're going to roll with for right now. The article reads: White fans call out Tyler the Creator for fake appreciation of D'Angelo and black music. Tyler the Creator calls out his white fans for their lack of appreciation for black art, and they fire back, accusing him of fake appreciation while digging up receipts. This was written yesterday. Today is October 21st. This was written on October 20th, 2025. The article reads: Tyler the Creator seems to be at war with some of his fans over his recent tribute to the passing of legendary soul singer D'Angelo. It hurt me too. No one could have imagined that one heartfelt dedication to the voodoo singer's influence on Tyler the Creator would ignite an online clash, mainly with his white fan base. Now, black people are leaning in to hear some more of the tea on what really went down. Yeah, it was sad when D'Angelo died. And white people always got some shit to say. And I'm sure they would absolutely have shit to say about Tyler the Creator, um, in his how he appears to them, and how I guess they maybe not knowing about D'Angelo. I don't know. Um, it's giving you're not that black, bro. When the news broke of D'Angelo's passing, celebrities turned to the internet to pour out their grief and acknowledge the singer's untimely passing. Tyler the Creator also took a moment to reflect on how he discovered Brown Sugar Artist. On my ninth birthday, March 6th, 2000, I landed at Sam Goody at the South Bay Galleria, he wrote in an Instagram post. I had $20 in birthday money, and my eyes were set on leaving with one thing: Voodoo by D'Angelo. I have a different thing with my relationship to D'Angelo, because the first thing I saw from that album was Untitled, and I was in my very, very, very 90s homophobic years. I mean, it was 2000, but it was, stemming from the 90s. It was like, oh, hell no, I'm not watching this goddamn video. Turn it off. And I'm watching all my cousins, my aunties. I feel like my mom was really into religion back in the day, so she didn't really let us listen to secular music. But at the time, when you're all those Christianity rules go out the window when you're with your aunties and your cousins and whatnot. So like, you see the video and it's like, man, why I gotta see all that? But then I think maybe I saw Belly. Maybe I saw Belly and heard, I don't know if it was on the Belly soundtrack, but I think I heard the song and dug for the song. And I was like, oh, that was D'Angelo. That was the dude that's naked in the video. And then there was a video where, like, Hits from the Streets, like, he made a parody of it, and he was definitely making it more obvious that he was, like, insinuating that he was getting a blowjob in the video. So that was my relationship, and I had to break down my own homophobia and be a little more comfortable in my masculinity to cop the record. And like, obviously once he passed, I had to cop. Well, no, this wasn't once he passed, but like, I had to play both the records, both of these. I don't have Brown Sugar on vinyl, and I'm scared to look now. I'm scared to look to buy it. Either way, I was also the kid that was into all different types of music. So it was I think my hip hop tastes were just starting to develop around that time. But I was also into like just like Tyler the Creator, into like NERD, anything that was black and challenged a lot of different norms for black people at that time in the mid to late 90s era. So I to all that is to say that I understand where Tyler the Creator might be coming from, but we're going to continue further. He went on to explain how D'Angelo's single Brown Sugar was a staple in his household and how he had no idea it would go to shape his musical DNA. Same. Yeah. I think the Soul Quarians, everything that was Soul Quarian, anything that was like not necessarily anti-violent or but just was not violent in its nature, even though like I think at the time like listening to a lot of DMX at that time and Jay-Z, Capone Noriega, Nas at that time was at the forefront. It was always nice to have artists like Reese. Go look up Reese, Khalees, anything Pharrell was doing, NERD, yeah, just black and weird, which is what Tyler the Creator is. So, um, where are we at? Said, but social media was a oh, while the post resonated with most of his fans and peers, some of his white fans called bullshit on Tyler's tribute. The Igor artist may appreciate his supporters, but he's never shied away from calling out his white fan base's discomfort with his appreciation for black music. Even liked a post calling out his fan base dislike for his appreciation for black music. But social media was armed with receipts ready to clap back at Tyler. I mean, yeah, that's what white folks do. Um, if you if you early somehow put yourself in a position where you are around white folks and like appear to their tastes, they're going to use that as ammo for you somehow being less black than everyone else because they're into you. Not necessarily that this is a white thing that you're doing, but that is their perception. I mean, we don't need to get too deep into the history of like rock and roll music, how they steal shit from us, but they will co-opt their that music and that vibe and weirdness and queerness, and they will do that and then put that on top of you and being like, I'm blacker than you, bro. Like I listen to DMX, you listen to Pharrell, like you know what I mean, and that shit is annoying as fuck. But social media was armed with receipts ready to clap back. If you were following Tyler the Creator back in the early 2010s, you probably were a witness to his off the wall commentary. The former Odd Future frontman might have thought those days were behind him. You, this shit comes back, bro. But fans haven't forgotten. Almost instantly, users began pulling receipts of the artist's old weird tweets. Such as, let's get into the shit. Okay, no, let's talk about it first because, yeah, Tyler the Creator was cringy as fuck, is the word that they're using now, right? Super cringe, edgelord type shit. It talked a lot about, went as dark as talking about essay. Um, Also lyrically, I feel like he had some statements that were like relatively anti-black and very much on the same vibe as like a Childish Gambino, where it's like I'm too white for the black kids and too black for the whites, like type shit. And I'm really glad that in my lifetime I never expressed that sentiment as harshly or as loudly as either Tyler the Creator, as Doja Cat, as Childish Gambino, because that sentiment is real, but you really have to explore that sentiment. And if you don't have it in check, and if you're not, and luckily for me, I was surrounded by, I think, just artistic people enough where it wasn't necessarily like I got a pass for like just being weird about shit. It was more like I did all of the things. So it's like, yeah, I might be getting jumped one day for dressing one way, but also I'm coming back to that same neighborhood and it's like, dude, like, can you just and before you know it, I'm like playing basketball with these same people, and uh be like, I don't know, I'm just put on to so many different black artists who were willing or open to expressing themselves differently than most of the people around them. And I think historically that is a bigger, like, we that is something that black people do that white people end up taking. And in a lot, especially in a lot of punk spaces, people will co-opt some blackness in order to distance themselves from white people in that way. And it's kind of how a lot of artistic movements are just come about. But let's continue. Let's look at some of the. I know these tweets are about to be crazy. The retweet was okay. Now let's go into the statement. What does it say? What does it say? Oh God. I hate Black History Month. Why the fuck do you have to fucking separate niggas still? Oh, it's paying homage to our heroes. Fuck that. Yep, that's fucking crazy, my guy. That shit is wild, my dude. Yup, I'm glad. I mean, I never felt that way. As weird as I was, I never felt that way. Well, that's crazy. But you know, it's an opinion, and you know what? Like, all this shit comes back. And one thing about that is, I think, for artists is you really have to be careful with your expression and how you feel. You really have to, like I was saying before, you have to like sit, stew, and like take all of your feelings about a thing first before you write that down, because that energy will come back to you at some point. And sometimes I realize with certain artists who never really make it as big, it's like, oh, what happened to so and so and so and so, and it's because you don't want to play that game. Like, you don't want to have shit out there. It's like, oh, this is the thought that I have. Let me process this thought. Let me sit and stew with it. But the punk energy is like, put it out, put it out, put it out. I feel it. Let's get through it. Let's talk about it. And then, but I think when it comes full circle on you, what you have to do is you have to talk about it constantly. Like, if you, I'm a believer, one, in forgiveness, but also for more than anyone else, for black people, because we have come from circumstances that are so out of this world, that are like, I mean, not out of this world because the world is fucked up, but that are so crazy that you to look at the psychology of us processing, we 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 should be more fucked up than we are. So when somebody is a little more fucked up than the average of us, then I think, unfortunately, what happens is, like, you still have to bear in mind where we come from, or fortunately or unfortunately. However, Um, I think I'm quick to, I don't want to say I'm quick to apologize, but when you understand that, it becomes easier for me to look at other people and be like, oh, what was their situation, and then how does race and the patriarchy and how do all of these things play into our worldview. And but let's say you grow, you've learned a thing. One of the most embarrassing things is to grow out of a situation and you know look back at tweets that you wrote when you weren't there, and that proof being there when you a little bit off is can be really hard to come to terms with. But let's get into more of these tweets. I'm really afraid. I'm really afraid because I might have liked his music in the 2010s, but going back now and listening to it, it's just like, oh, it's so cringy. All right. No, Dad, stop. Stop trying to eat me out, Dad. Oh, no. Ooh. Okay, you can read it, right? Cuz I don't know if yeah, that's wild. That was him. I mean, that was exactly who he was too, wasn't it? Yeah. And that ain't got shit to do with race or anything. That was just wild. And he was a wild boy. And he, like going back to what I'm saying about just in your artistry, is some people would be bigger than they are if they had the wild antics. But um, there is a legit. Some people aren't where they should be musically because of their fear of fame, and that's important because it's like then you got people digging in at like everything you say outside of the music when the only thing that should matter is the music. But Tyler was just a wild boy. He seemed like he got like ADHD or something. I don't want to be a bar stool psychologist, but I don't know. It just seems like he was like the type of kid that just could not sit still. Some even called out the artist for his recent reconnection with his Nigerian heritage. His daddy was never in his life. He had no Nigerian community around him and even changed his last name. He grew up purely black American, but y'all itch so bad for xenophobia. You want to tie his coonery to his father's back. Well, I didn't see this yet. Tyler chose to be anti-black because that's who he was. Yeah, I mean, there's the diaspora wars or whatever. Is one thing to note, but that's not coming from his daddy, but that's coming from his father's resentment, and then now he has a what do you call it? Kind of like a thing, like his dad becomes. I've been here before because my dad was gone for like a couple years too. But you have this body that you can place on a people, kinda, where it's like, um, you know what? Fuck them Nigerians. You can have these thoughts about who you are as a person, and really want to kill that part of you. Um, and like, which is sad, right? Because he never knew his father, but I think people are trying to superimpose the discontent that some Africans have for African Americans onto Tyler the creator, when in actuality it has more to do with just him being without a dad and crashing out at every chance he got and just being mad about shit. Other surfaced distasteful tweets that he made about some folks in Sudan. He still ain't delete this one, by the way. Hungry kids in fucking Sudan wouldn't eat this shit. Well, that's a it's anti-blackness is not a it's not solely. I mean, it is white by origin, but that does not limit black people from getting to that. I mean, like by design, we are taught to be anti-black. Which, okay, I mean, maybe if I didn't say this now, I wouldn't make it a point later. But I mean, like the part of forgiveness that I'm talking about with anti-blackness will happen or should happen for all people who come out of it, because it's not like you wake up one day and you become um and you just wake up one day and it's like, I'm no longer anti-black. No, that's not how that shit works. It is every single day you have to look at things and break that shit down every day. And you know what, like, and this goes back to what I'm saying, is like, if he is being responsible, which I don't think he's ever done, like he's just grown up and then just forgot what he was as a young man. um Him having that evolution and not going back and analyzing it and talking about it constantly is still, you still got work to do. um you still got a lot more to unpack with your anti-blackness. I seen that Tyler the Creator shit in real time. Y'all ain't think that nigga was weird then. I mean, this nigga always been weird. He has always been weird. There's nothing to argue with there. But I mean, homie was born in 1992, which makes him what, 33? I actually don't know if he was born in 1992. I'm making up a number. It could have been 95. I don't know. No, wait. Because he said, where they say in 2000 he was how old? In the year 2000, I was March 6th. So, okay, 1991. Right? Yeah. 9. In 2000, 1991. Yep. So, he was a kid. And a kid in a very fucking weird time. He's 9 years old in 2000. Yeah, that's a weird time to grow up. And, I really don't know as much of his history as you might think. But let's just be real. That's just, I mean, anti-blackness is a thing. And you know what? Like, he got, now he has to deal with the fact that, like, he was anti-black for his white fans. And that was his fan base. So now he has to deal with that. So now, the people that made up his black fan base might have also been anti-black. Does that mean I like the anti-black side of him? I don't know. Because I didn't I mean, like, I liked it for the music. I didn't like some of the, even with the, I felt like some of the anti-black things were more cringy than the essay type stuff for me, which made me probably more misogynistic than anti-black. But it's still, there was not enough in his music to revolt me from that. Like, I can't listen to this shit now, which, brings up my own evolution, my personal growth. It takes generations to evolve, but my own personal growth finds a lot of that early stuff pretty disgusting. Back then, it was like, I'm glad somebody's weird. You know what I mean? And a part of that was being comfortable hearing a lot of anti-black shit. And you gotta eat that, but you gotta talk about it. And that, I'm talking about it, but where is Tyler now? Where is Tyler now? Fans weren't taking their foot off his neck, continuing to drag the chromacopia artist as, they keep bringing his albums in, and dude got so many albums. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna reread the sentence. I just think it's weird that they randomly drop which album is which. It's like, yo, dude, like he's been working. Like, what's next, Flower Boy? Fans weren't taking their foot off his neck, continuing to drag the chromacopia artist as they uncovered more, like his old tweet about R. Kelly. R. Kelly peed on a fucking child and got away with it. That is the most swagged out shit I have ever heard in my life. And that's the hate, the levels on that one is pretty fucking wild, my guy. That's SA of a child. Anti-black, anti-black woman, anti-woman, anti-children. That's wild. And that's just to be cringy. That was in 2011. You know what? Like some of these dates. Yep. The Hungry Kids in fucking Sudan is in 2025. So it's not that much growth. It's not that much growth. And you know what? We gotta. This is 2014, almost forgivable, but one is straight out of 2025. This year, like 2 days ago. It's got some unpacking to do. Like, you know what? Before I was like, could he be forgiven? This was all when he was a kid. This was when he was just a child. Leave him alone. I can't. Bro, that was in 2019 you said that shit. Now, granted, I get humor. I can, amongst friends, it can get pretty wild. But on Twitter, when you know you got the white fans you got. Now these white fans are crazy, right? But you know you got the fans that you know, like you probably are calling them like immature for loving the shit that you did when you were immature, but you did this in 2025. Am I tripping? Did that say 2025? Hungry Kids is no, dude, I'm tripping. Oh, okay. No, I'm reading that. No, okay, it was 2020. That was 2011. All right. I take back everything I just said. I'm looking at this date as opposed to this date. Yeah. All right. So I'm okay. Now I gotta relook and see if all of the dates I said were. Yeah, he was young. He was young. Doesn't really excuse it. You should be doing this work every day to not necessarily just erase what you did. You said what you said. In fact, I'd leave it there. I'm sure he's deleting all this shit right now. But I would leave it there. It's like, you know what? We gotta unpack this shit. We gotta talk about it. Ciao, it's a mess. From comments about Diddy to, oh my God, where's the Diddy one? Oof, I don't know if I want to see it. To Leon Thomas and his alleged hatred towards Wale, the internet had time. So what was Tyler's response? Since the surfacing of these tweets, Tyler has been quiet while quietly trying to delete these old tweets. I bet you fucking are, bro. Whether he's choosing silence or plotting to resurface to choose violence with his fan base, we'll be watching. I bet you will. I'll be watching too. Cause you gotta grow up, bro. You gotta grow up. But like you not just grow up, you gotta get right there and unpackage everything that you said. Maybe who you are now. Like, it's not about just erasing stuff and trying to be better in closed door, and then before you know it, you a monk, and you just buried all of these sentiments. You really gotta unpack it all. But that's all I gotta say about this. This has been Nuanced Noise. I'm gonna try to do this as often as I can. Maybe 3 days a week or so. Also, be sure to check out my other videos. There's one on Aisha Curry at this point, and what was the other one? What was the other one? It was, I don't remember. I don't remember. And it definitely had more than the Aisha Curry one. That's probably why I'm saying that, because I feel like people should pay attention to the Aisha Curry one. It was the Joe Budden. It was Mark Lamont Hill. Actually, that was probably a little more important. I don't know what it was. Either way, like, comment, subscribe. Check me out. All right. This is Tr38cho. This has been Nuanced Noise. Peace.